Yeah, hold on for a second. We're back.
Yeah, if this thing is 5x5, this will be awesome.
Yeah, it's big enough for me. I mean, if I get in trouble, buy too much equipment, I can sleep in it, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really my plan. My plan is I'm going to be out in the sun. I don't want to get roasted, and having a 10x10 canopy is just way too big. Obviously, when I do this type of live stream stuff and I'm doing solar and I've got all my equipment, it's great, but not when I'm doing it at home.
Well, the good thing is you can take the canopy and just block off one section of the room just to keep the light from getting in, or the heat at least getting in, and then your telescope can be all out and just imaging away. You can do the live broadcast from that point, which it gives everybody the live view, and you're not just cooking in the sun.
Which I usually am. Yeah, because I've had to start throwing a towel over the scope as well now, just to keep the temperature of the scope down. Oh, it's crazy.
Oh, anyhow, I think for a moment there, I lost the live stream. We're back. Anyhow.
I want one.
Yeah. I hate it when I do something like that. I actually touched the wrong button. Anyhow, but that's great. So Simon, thanks for coming on to the show. I'm going to give you the stage here. We are going to be doing a combined live stream tomorrow. But you are running a program. Who will be on with you?
So what we're going to be doing is, this will be somewhat of a first, because Scott gave me a call the other day and said, "Hey, let's do some solar stuff for the Global Star Party." And I was like, "Oh gosh, I've already got an event going on." I thought, why don't we combine our efforts? So what I have here is, I'll have Daniel, who is at the store from Woodland Hills Camera and Telescope. I will have Kevin Legore from Focus Astronomy, who does outreach specifically. And for those people who use cloudy nights on a regular basis, I have John Isaacs, who does visual astronomy. So the whole theme of this is specifically to do with visual astronomy, and we're going to talk about different eyepieces, not specifically by brand, but how to pick the right one to be comfortable for you as a user. So things like eye relief, the size of the eye cup, the pupil or the exit pupil sizes, all of these things that, quite honestly, most people, when they buy an eyepiece, do not really think about this. They just go, okay, that guy says this one's the best one for this price, but don't know why. So that's what we're going to go into. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing John Isaacs talks about is going to be star hopping, which is going to be really interesting, because I kind of feel like people are losing that skill of being able to star hop, which is...
That's true. You know, especially if you've been using go-to telescopes a lot, okay, you start to lose that edge of recognizing or being able to figure out, okay, where is M51 exactly? You know, you remember it's off, you know, the arch of the Big Dipper, and you just kind of go a little bit down. But if you haven't done it for a while, you know, you kind of lose the touch, you know, so.
Funny you should say that. How I learned most of the bright stars is by doing the alignment procedure. Every go-to system has some type of alignment procedure, regardless of which one you use, and it always names the brightest stars. And that was a thing, was like, I have no idea what these stars are, so I better learn them real quick because they keep coming up. So that's actually how I learned that. And then once I discovered that, I would watch what the scope would do when it would do the go-to and go, oh, hold on a minute. I saw that, and that. So I know what to look for. So every time I align with Vega, I'm forever looking for two double stars. They're not true double stars because they're actually quite far apart. Mm-hmm. But if I see these two stars, I know Vega is just up there. And this is a skill that is, like I said, starting to become lost. Most astrophotographers do not actually know where anything is, and I can sit there and point with it at a laser and say, it's right there, trust me, because I've seen it so many times.
Right.
And that's the thing. I think people are losing that skill.
I think you're right. I think that I started to see that happen way back when I was with Mead Instruments and we came out with the LX200, you know, and there was a period of time where kind of the old guard was saying that these robotic telescopes are going to ruin the hobby of astronomy because people will lose that ability to do star hopping. I started to see some people kind of go through this whole curve of using a robotic telescope, getting into astrophotography, building an astrophotographic rig, and then buying a Dobsonian, you know, so they could get back and do visual work.
You know, the funny thing is I, to this day, and it's not a case of reluctantness or refusal, is I still do not use plate solving. There's something about plate solving that takes everything out of the whole point of doing what I do. And more often than not, I'll be out with somebody and they've got their full-on rig and they try to do a plate solve to find something and they can't find it because the plate solve fails or whatever the case may be. And I'm like going, dude, it's right there. It's just like, why do you need this? And they go, oh, I need to make sure I get the framing exactly right. And I says, like, have you ever thought about doing pinpointing with, you know, having certain things line up in a grid, which is a version of star hopping? Yeah. And it's amazing. They just can't do it. And it's like, what's so difficult about it? You know, you're in the vicinity. You know, the star where you shot the previous image is going to be in that corner. All you got to do is move the star into that corner and line it up again. It's not hard. And I do that all the time. And yeah, okay, it's not deadly accurate as you would get with, say, doing plate solving. But the idea here is I'm learning and remembering where everything is. With a pair of binoculars, I can find the Triangulum galaxy in seconds because I know exactly where to look. But if you try to plate solve that sucker, you're not always guaranteed to find it.
Right. So Tyler, you are, I mean, you're like someone that grew into this hobby by, I mean, did you go to astrophotography or?
I started out in visual because, as Simon says, you need to at least learn the sky, because if you don't, you're going to be lost and you won't know where to go. Because I mean, I am one of those guys that depend on plate solving, but I do know kind of where things are. I mean, reluctantly, that's apps help as well, but getting out a star map is not, I mean, it's just easier because I can read the star map. I know where things are within the night sky. But you get some people that just want to use an app and that's all they want to depend on because it's easy. They don't want to read. I hate to say it. They've given up on the reading aspect, and it just makes life simpler, a lot simpler to use.
Sure.
But I'm always curious if things actually, if an app's not always precise, how far off it's going to be. But with reading on the star atlas and learning the sky and star hopping, how much easier it is to learn the actual sky instead of depending on a piece of technology to do it.
Right. I'm going to give there's some comments here on in chat right now. We've got all of our regular people watching right now, which is great. A comment from Marco Pola. He says, waiting for a phone call from Explore Scientific so I can purchase my observatory tent with my Explore Alliance discount. Such an amazing deal.
You can always call us.
Yes.
We're always here.
But remember too, I mean, if you have a dealer that you want to work with, we wholeheartedly recommend you work with them, and that because you can get the same deal. So, you know, why not? Let's see. People are happy it's Friday. Simon, someone was wanting to know which filter you were talking about. Was it the?
Wait, I was talking about a filter.
You were talking while the you know, before the show started.
Oh, people were listening into our bad conversation. Oopsies.
Mics are hot during that time, so that's cool. But people like that for some reason.
I'm glad I didn't say anything inappropriate, like my cat sitting next to me.
That's right. That's right. But I think you guys were talking about the Optilong L Enhance or something.
Oh yes,
Oh.
okay. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to show this. I hopefully they didn't see it because this is not supposed to be seen by anybody yet. This is one of the filters that I'm actually using. It just looks like every other filter, but
yeah.
Long story short is I'm testing out another narrowband filter, or a broadband strict narrowband filter, and I know what everyone's going to say. Great, we got another one in the mix. The reason why I've been testing this particular style is because of the way its light transmission works. It doesn't block everything. It's not designed for that purpose. It's designed to make your imaging better, and you can find them quite easily. They're made by a company called IDIS, which is based in Japan.
Okay.
So you can look it up quite easily. I'm not going to push any particular product because that's not what we're here for.
Right, I understand. Yeah, people get really interested in the gear though. I
will say this though, going back to the star hopping thing. If you ever buy an Explorer Scientific eyepiece, I know that this thing keeps making everything disappear. They actually come with maps. Use them.
Yes.
I do love that feature.
You'd be so surprised that I'll be looking at the box and I'll be doing something and I pull out one of my eyepieces and I'm going Shrifford Nebula, Lagoon Nebula. It's like, oh, what's this over here? Right. And then I would actually follow the damn box and go, oh, I haven't seen that one before yet. Because I genuinely never really paid much attention. Again, that's the problem with these apps, is they'll only show you the typical major things. Whereas I've forgotten who published this star map initially, but we had some at the store and I used to flick through it just to go, oh, what can I do today? And that's when I started discovering like some of the more crazy things up in the sky that just people have never actually seen before.
Right. Let's see. Davine says he has a map to the stars homes in Hollywood.
Yeah, most of those are fake.
Fake, that's right. Yeah, they still show where Lucille Ball is. And I think that's it as far as most of the comments here. We have Wade Prunty says, have the IDAS RASA system with the LPS D2DI and the people, all these acronyms, and the NB2PMDI.
Yeah, so any of the P1, P2, D1, D2 series of the Hutech IDIS filters, whichever one of you want to call it by, those are light suppression filters. Any of the NB series are what we refer to as nebula boosters, which are kind of different. So I know, Scott, you sell a contrast enhancer, which is more for visual than it is for imaging. The best way to describe it here is the P1, P2, D2, D1, they're closer to the contrast boosters, whereas the NB series, should I say, is more specifically for imaging. Especially if you're using DSLR, they're great when you couple them up together with stuff like that. But it's don't get the two confused. They are not really designed for visual.
Right. Some people also are asking you, Simon, can you do a
picture of the new moon?
What's that?
It says, can you do a picture of the new moon?
Yes.
Wouldn't that just be a black picture?
But you get earth shine, right? You get earth shine on the moon.
Yeah, yes, you do get earth shine. I mean, that will probably take me a second, but so I'm going to tell this is great, and I'm sure Tyler would appreciate this too. There was a time where a lot of people discovered StarNet, which is the star removal. for astrophotography, and its actual function was used to create star mask and doing star reduction. That's what it really was designed for.
Huh.
And as a joke, I put up a star cluster and said, this is what I'm going to do with star removal on a star cluster. And then you swipe along and the next picture is just a big black box. Because people just don't realize you do star removal on this globular cluster, there are no stars.
Fine. Yeah.
So that was a fun joke.
Gone. Absolutely gone. Okay. Well, we were talking. I brought Simon on the show to talk about Global Star Party 14.
Oh yeah, that's right. We kind of sidetracked, didn't we?
But no, what will happen? Simon will come on earlier. Normally, the European edition starts at 4 o'clock. Okay, Central. We're going to actually be on the air at 2 o'clock. Because they start earlier, okay, and they'll run through their speakers, and then at 4 o'clock, Gary Palmer will come on, David Levy will come on, and Libby and the Stars will come on. She normally is not on the European edition, but this time she wants to try it because it's on a Saturday instead of a Friday. Normally she would be in school during that time. So she wants to talk about her experience at Kennedy Space Center. So that's going to be really cool. And what else will be going on? We will have Gary Palmer on doing imaging. Steve Collingwood will be on, also from Pulsar Observatories, and a lot more. So a real special show tomorrow. Simon and I are trying something that we've never tried, or I haven't ever tried before. Maybe you've done this before.
I actually have done something very similar to this.
Okay, all right. So I was like nervous, like going, how can we do this? How can you broadcast and I broadcast and we're broadcasting, so, but Simon's a genius, so that's how we're doing it, I'm just going.
So what we're going to do here is, and the reason why both myself and Scott and Gary decided to do something like this is because both of our events happen to run on Saturday. And I know a lot of you guys watching at home is the same people who want to watch our show. So why not combine the two shows together? That's what got the idea started. I mean, me and Scott were talking about this a long, long time ago. We wanted to do something special, which we probably will, something very, very different. But this will be a great test for us, Scott, to see how the reaction works, because hopefully we can bring in two audiences that would never have met before and let's see how it works. Right. So I'm excited. So anything new, anything I haven't tried before, I'm all game for. So that's really cool. Well, Simon, thanks for participating with us today and hanging out with us this afternoon. No worries.
We're up here with Tyler. Tyler, I'm going to give you the stage here, and we're going to talk about what's been going on with the OpenGOTO community.
All righty. Simon, I appreciate you being on. I really do. It's good to see you, even though we've talked on the phone. OpenGOTO community, what we're all really here for. Well, we're still waiting to hear back about the gentleman with the Android tablet issue that we were talking about yesterday. I haven't heard anything back from that. There was a suggestion that a possibility could be that between a 2-star and 3-star alignment, the 3-star alignment could possibly be crashing the actual app on the Android. Again, it depends on the version, the tablet that's being used, but with a 2-star alignment, everything worked fine. So that may be something, if the gentleman is watching, if this pertains to him, it's something that he may be able to try out to see if that could alleviate the issue that he is having. That's as far as with the groups in the OpenGOTO community. We had a great class here with our CSR reps. I put on an hour-and-a-half class for astrophotography, get them more involved so I don't have to be the only guy that they depend on in case I'm not here that day.
Right.
So I had a great class. There was a Reddit post. A gentleman bought a great eyepiece for planetary. He was talking all sorts of praises on that. I've gotten some emails on the pop-up tent we have as well from Jeff Weiss. So I got to get with him after this wonderful meeting and talk to him about it. And that's really what's going on. Yeah. I mean, it's been extremely quiet without Jerry. I think Jerry is the pusher of everything. It's just, without Jerry, it's just silence.
Jerry gets like worked up sometimes.
He does. He does.
Up and you know, he'll read something that he thinks is stupid science somewhere. And I
think he's, as I call it, he's the stick that stirs the pot.
Yeah, that's and it's funny.
It is.
Early. And
I mean, but I get it. It's his baby. I mean, he created it. It's his baby. I totally understand, but
it's not only the PMCA, but he'll read something about something he just thinks is stupid. Okay.
Oh, like the science article from the other day.
Article, you know, and a lot of times he'll read something like that, and he'll say, "Are we going to talk about this on the air?" And I'll say, "No, we're not going to talk about this on the air, Jerry."
But no, I'm getting a lot of positive feedbacks on the YouTube videos that I'm doing. There's going to be a lot more coming out, guys. So be on the lookout. And if you have any suggestions of what you want to see, you know, what you want me to talk about, don't hesitate either to email me or just call. And we'll definitely get it into what you want to learn. I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. I'm at your disposal.
You know, actually, I do have a request since we're talking about visual and star hopping and all that stuff. So you guys sell planispheres. And this is the interesting thing that I've always found is people don't actually know how to use them. They buy them as like a novelty gift for somebody, not realizing what they're actually for and how to utilize them.
Because that's a good idea.
Even to this day, I sell somebody a planisphere and then they go pull out Sky Safari and I'm like going, what are you doing? You know, you don't need this. If you have this, it's way more interactive than what you would do with the phone, because with the phone, you're holding it up and you're doing this or you're swiping around trying to find something, but it's actually, and they have no concept of summer sky versus winter sky.
And then you're also hurting your night vision at that point.
Well, actually, yours actually works a lot better at night, believe it or not. I
meant with the app.
One somewhere. Oh, yeah, the app, yes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you guys sell red flashlights and stuff like that as well. That's like a must, especially if you don't want to trip over your tripod legs like I keep doing. But it's amazing how somebody says to me in the summer, goes, I want to see Orion. And I look at them and go, well, unless you want to stay up until 5 o'clock in the morning, we ain't going to see it. I said, that is a winter sky object. And they don't quite fathom that. And I wish I had a planisphere in front of me to say, look, this is how this works. Something like that you guys should probably get into as well, because it's a useful aid.
Yeah, we did. Kent Marks posted a video a while back on how to use that planisphere, you know, the Wiltirian double-sided planisphere. So that's out there. But, you know, I should probably run it on the show a couple of times so that people are well aware of that. So instead of people having to hunt back through all of our videos, because we actually do have a lot of videos up there, you know, broadcasting every day and doing global star parties and in special programs. You know, we do have quite a bit going on in that regard. And so, but I think that we should probably download some of them ourselves and rerun them in the live broadcasting occasionally. Because
I agree. That's a good idea, Simon.
I'm just going to, sorry.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to answer something on the chat real fast about putting in an extra weight. So that's the irony behind it. So for those of you who follow me on Instagram, probably know that a couple of days ago, I went out to shoot a ISS transit, which I do on a regular basis, to be totally honest. And while I was packing everything into my car, I normally keep at least one counterweight in my car, always, even though I never use it. And it's just a dangerous metal object rolling around in the back of the car. I always leave it in there. It was when I was packing my car, I took it out. And in my head, I thought it was still in there because I'm so used to it being always in there. And then I get to it, I'm like, well, where's my counterweight gone?
No.
And of course, I'm using a great big refractor, so I can't get away with not having weight. Luckily, this is where physics and engineering comes in handy. So for those of you who are in school who don't pay attention to physics and fulcrums, you need to, because it will save your bacon one day when you forget your counterweight. So I ended up having my, I call it a work case because that's what it was really used for. And I just filled it with stuff, water bottles, batteries, junk. I mean, I could put my shoe in there if I wanted to. And I had a Velcro strap hold onto the counterweight shaft. And I know where the sun is, so I know it's at the meridian pretty much. So I flip over the meridian, hang the weight up, let it lift up, let go of everything. As long as it doesn't drop to one side, it will be fine for the next 30 minutes. And that's what I basically use as a counterweight, believe it or not.
Wade Prunty says you should just hang a sack of crawdads off of it.
I could.
Where are we going to get a sack of them?
At the seafood place.
Just
Yeah.
They sell them around here. They're everywhere.
Oh, so
Even in Texas, there are a lot more.
Well, the assumption is I haven't eaten the crawfish already.
a beer, as somebody else suggests.
Well, if you need to lighten the weight, just take some out, just start eating away.
Just like,
Drink one, that's right.
yes, that was a rooster. I live out pretty much in the middle of nowhere, so it's kind of noisy here when it comes to wildlife.
Yes, that's right. I thought they were just sound effects.
No, yeah, it's just a button.
He's really an expert at broadcasting and does great video work, and he's a great photographer and everything. So it would not surprise me that he would have this incredible library of special effects. So.
Oh, just to make it look like I'm actually living in the countryside.
Yes. It's all a set,
Yeah, exactly.
Hollywood ranches somewhere. So that's right. Anyhow. Well, gentlemen, do we have any more to cover today?
I think we got it covered. We touched on the tent. We touched on the go-to.
Yeah.
Simon talked about star hopping and secret projects.
Right. That's right. That's right. Secret projects that everybody wants to know more about. Anything from the chat room? Anybody else have any questions?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Sorry, I don't know if I should read this, but I'm going to read it anyway. It says, somebody said, some people here forget their wives at the gas station and only notice 50K silence in the car.
Wow.
Ground too. The wife could leave you, stranded at some gas station. That's right.
Well, he's already halfway gone.
Oh, dear.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Funny, though. Very funny. And probably true. Probably really happened. Let's see. Well, okay. Just keep driving, Tim Myers says. Yeah, if you're that brave, okay, that you left your wife at a gas station, you better keep driving because you probably won't live to tell the story. So, well, I do really thank you, Simon, for joining us today. And Tyler, what do you got planned for this weekend? You're going to try to clear?
I'm going to image. I have some testing that I have to do, but I am going to image like I've never imaged before.
Right? I'm not to the imaging point yet with my rig. I still have to buy a.
You are. You got your telescope.
What's that?
You got everything that you need. You just got to get out and do it.
Yeah, actually, you know what? So having said that, Scott, you of all people should have no excuse when it comes to equipment.
For a long time, I used to have keys to Mount Wilson Observatory. So I'd go up to Mount Wilson and I could use the 16-inch Meade that they had up there. And that was a lot of fun. And I have had different rigs from time to time. But I've been into this for a long time, right? And so when you're building a telescope company, sometimes you don't get all the observing time that you'd like to have. But I'm having a good time building out this system with a 4-inch, ED triplet, and It's going to be, I think that the biggest enjoyment for me will be allowing other people to actually operate it. So, you know, that's going to be cool. So that's what it's being built for. But I think that will close it for tonight, guys. And you have a good weekend. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Okay, we're going to be on live at 12 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. And then you'll see waves of people coming in. David Levy will be there starting at about 4 p.m. Central. Then Gary Palmer will be on. He may log on a bit early. He tends to do that. And we expect to have some live imaging and a lot of fun. So take care, everyone. And that's it. That's it. If I can figure out how to end this program. Here we are.
So I've got a challenge for you, Scott.
Yeah?
And I think you might be able to pull it off more than I could.
Okay.
Through all your great contacts, do you think at any point we could do a live stream with somebody from the ISS?
Maybe. That would be really cool.
I've always wanted to do that. I mean, from a resource standpoint, we simply don't have the resources to pull something off like that because we just simply don't know enough people.
All right. Let's see what we can do. See if we can pull it off.